All right, guys, today we're working on my aunt's 94 Lincoln Town Car. She's going to sell it. There's a guy coming to get it in June, so there's a few things that we need to address before it goes. And the first one is, see, her trunk's not closing all the way. If the power pull down isn't working, it's stuck up. And for a long time, I could just come up here, she would bring it by, and I would just hold this switch up right here on the latch, and that supplies the ground to the motor. So while I'm holding this switch up, I would take the side of my fist and just give this a smack like that, like the brushes are sticking in the motor, and it would take off and work. And it would work for the longest time. Well, now it's just quit. I can beat the crap out of it and it's not taking off. So we're going to have to put a motor in it. So just so happens I've got 4 of them laying here. And I've got 2 from the 80s town cars, which, see, it's got a different plug than the one for the 90s town cars. And I want to explain that if you've got an 80s town car that you need a motor for, just because it has a different plug doesn't mean you can't use this. All you got to do, if you get one out of a junkyard, just cut the pigtail along with it, and then you can splice. You cut this one off and you can splice this one on it to use for an 80s. We're not going to have to do that today. I'm just trying to explain to you that the only difference in these motors is the plug, and it will work. For instance, this black wire here, black with a white stripe on the 80s, that's your constant 12 volts. And on this one, this white with a purple stripe is your constant 12 volts. So if you cut that off, you would just mate white black to the white purple. And then the black wire is your ground, that's your constant ground. And they're both black, so just black to match the plugs. And then this red wire on the 80s is the one that comes from that upper switch that I was showing you that I would hold up, because what that does is supplies a ground to the motor to make this go down. So this red one you would match up to the orange with a yellow stripe. So that's all there is to it. You just cut those wires and splice them, and you can use one out of a newer town car, probably through 97, I would say. So I was going to show you over here too. It's basically the same thing. This is the pull down for a 89. And the trunk release button in the trunk has nothing to do with this. That's a totally different circuit all by itself. So if your power trunk's working, when you push the button or the remote and the power trunk pops, that's just ignore that, because that has nothing to do with this circuit. It's totally different. That can work even though this can't. So see, hot all times, white, black. And you go over here to the 94, hot all times, white, purple. And then your constant ground is black. Over here, your constant ground is black. Now here, this is the deck lid pull down switch that I was showing that you push up with your thumb up there. It's just grounded, and then when you touch it, it sends a ground to the motor. Like I said, it's red on the 80s, on the 89 anyway. I can't say they didn't change these wires somewhere through the years, but there's only 3 wires, and it wouldn't be hard to figure out which. So this red one comes from that switch. On the 94, see, they're saying it's the trunk of jar switch. It also sends a ground to your trunk of jar light in your instrument cluster. So see, it's grounded, so that's your orange yellow that sends a ground. So orange yellow would go to the red on this one. So it's really the exact same thing. They just changed the color of the wires. So if you want to change them, that's all you have to do is cut that off if you can't find these, which they're getting very hard to find. And like I say, this started in GM. This is a GM plug. They use these in the Pontiac TransAms, the Firebirds, the Cadillacs, Camaros, the pull-down hatch, and the Lincolns. It was all this all started for GM. So even the Lincolns have got this GM plug through 89 at least. I'm not sure when they changed it, but this is a 94 and it's got this one. So I'm going to try to get this thing positioned up. I'm pretty sure all these motors are good. So I'm going to try to get this positioned on a tripod so I can show you guys how to change it out. We don't have to splice these, but I'm just telling you, you can if you can't find one for this. So let me get this set up and see if I can show you guys how to change it. Okay, I think I've got that in a position where you can see what I'm doing. So you've got this push pin and you've got one here. I don't think we need to take these out, so I've got my trusty little pry tool to get these out. Just kind of wiggle it around so you don't rip the head off of it. Okay, there's that one. There's that one. Then you just need to pull this up and over this latch mechanism. You got to tug pretty hard to get it up around there, but you're not going to rip anything. That one went ahead and came out anyway. All right, I'm going to grab this camera. So all you got to do is undo these three right here. I believe they're 7/16 or 11 millimeter. This just lift up on this tab and pull out. Yeah, this one does have these wire colors jive with what the book says. So I'm going to grab a motor and plug it in. Let's just grab this one that's got the wire already on it. Let's plug this in. Now see, I think if I reach up here and push this, I think this should go down if it works. But it didn't. So I'm wondering if that motor's any good. Let's try another one. All right, I'm going to push the switch. Okay, maybe that other motor's no good. Now see, that's going to keep going up. I'm going to see if I can squeeze this thing between my legs. Sorry. Now I'm going to push this button up here at the top again. It's going to go down, and then the trunk actually pushes on this switch to make it stop. See, if your switch, see, I'm holding that. I'm still holding that up here. So if your switch just keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down like that, that means this switch the trunk lands on is bad. That's what's wrong with doing that. So this motor is good. So let me get it set up here and change it out. All right, let's get this one that we just plugged in back off here. Lay it right down here on that plastic. Now, if I'm right, I think this is an 11 millimeter. Like I say, we got these 3 bolts we have to take out. It's all that's holding it in. Except this one on this side, we know that's the bad one. Set this right here. Get all these started. This just goes into plastic. I've never understood how these things even hold on there as good as they do. Or just threaded straight into that plastic. I don't know what keeps them from breaking. I can tell you I'm not hitting the hole. It's like it's wanting to start new threads. Before I snug that down, I'm going to try to get the others started. I wouldn't tighten them too tight. Okay, I'm going to plug it in. And looking at that, I don't think we need to put this back up. I'm sure it's going to work, but I think we're going to try it with this out before I pull it back over there. So let's see what happens. Make sure, okay, the keys are out of here. Just like that, it worked. Okay, it's working. I'll get this set up in a different position where it was before, and we'll get it put back together. Okay, so we're just going to pull this back over this. It goes back over it easier than it comes off of it. Put these little push pins back in. If we can find the hole. And this one that popped out that I didn't expect. I can't find it. Here it is. And the last one. All right, let's try it again. Look at that. Doing just what it's supposed to. We have to fix a window on this thing, and we got to put door striker bolts in it, and it'll be ready to go. I'll do a video on the car and get this stuff put back away. I'm going to open that up just to see if maybe I can clean the brushes and make it work, along with that one that we tried first, because I hate to throw them away. All I know is this one's working, so that's the one we're going to go with. If this video helped you guys, you like it, please give it that thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.